لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا حجة الله. حي على السلام حي على السلام حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. اللهم عجل قلبي بارا ومن السارا ورزقي دارا ولادي أبرارا وجل دين دا قبر نبيك محمدا مستقرا وقرارا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي كان موجودا قبل حدوث الأشياء ويبقى بعد فناء الأشياء. تفرد بالأولية والقدم ووسم كل شيء ما عداه بالفناء والعدم. كما قال عز شأنه كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه وكل نفس ذائقة الموت. قال كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. سبحان من لا يخفى عليه اختلاف النيات ولا يعزب عنه ما أسأل العباد في الخلوات. سبحان الله الذي منه خلقة العباد وإليه المعاد. فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خير يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره. نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو الملك الذي لا ينازع في ملكه ولا يضاد في حكمه. يعذب من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء ويرحم من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء. تعذيبه المسيئين عدل وعفوه تفضل. ونشهد أن محمدا سيد المرسلين وخير المبشرين والمنذرين صلى الله عليه وآله الهداة المهديين. من ركب سفينته النجا واهتدى ومن تخلف عنها ضل فغرق وهوى. أوصيكم عباد الله بالاعتصام بالتقوى فإنه حبل متين وأروة مثقى. فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فأقم وجهك للدين حنيفا فطرة الله التي فطر الناس عليها لا تبديل لخلق الله ذلك الدين القيم ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I begin by advising myself and all of you to practice the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as is the best of provisions. The verse that I shared and an observation based on an article, an editorial that was written a couple of years ago in a Tanzim al-Mukatib magazine. And so the discussion is based on that, so they get the credit for the discussion that I'm having. And on the observation that we have in these ayyam, where they're supposed to be the ayyam of celebrations. We should be celebrating the prosperous birth of Maulana Muttaqiyan Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. So with this muqaddimah, I shared this ayat of 30 of Surah Rum, which says, O Muhammad, be devoted to the upright religion. It is harmonious with the nature which God has designed for people. The design of God cannot be altered. Thus, it is the upright religion. But many people do not know. This ayat, while it talks about Deen, madhab, in our society where there are a lot of different religions, and in these religions there are different sects. Within these different sects, now there are different types of followers. So when we have different religions, that's understandable. When within religions you have different sects, that is understandable. In the Islamic religion, you have the Sunnis, the Shias, the Barelwis, the others that are there, the Sufis, for example, and so on and so forth. Within the Christian religion, you have all of these others, Protestants, Catholics, Orthodox, Roman Catholic, and so on and so forth. I'm sure similarly in Judaism, you have different. And while there are different sects, that is understandable to an extent. Within these different sects, there are different further fractions that have been created. So I'm not here to talk about different fractions between the Roman Catholics and the other faiths or the other divine faiths. I'm here more concerned about within our own faith, within our own sect. There are so many different types of followers of a single religion that if we were to categorize them with their actions, they can be called a separate religion by itself. Hence, you might have the 73 sects within that one sect or within that one religion that Rasulullah prophesied. The problem is simple in our society. There is no need to learn the religion. Here, not only every person is born on the fitrat of Islam, which Quran says, I recited the ayat. Rather, they're all born scholars of Islam. You're not born on the nature and the fitrat, you're born a scholar. They don't need to study the religion. They can understand it with their experiments, extensive experiments, their knowledge, common sense, and their liking and adaptation of where they live. After that, no one is allowed to intervene in their religious beliefs, even Allah and His apostle. If a person has made up his mind, and I'll give you a few day-to-day examples. So don't take it to heart. These are just the day-to-day examples by which we can understand the bigger picture. If a person has made up his mind that, for example, shaving beard shouldn't be haram in Islam, then Allah and His apostle cannot convince, let alone a Maulana. If a person has determined and decided that dance and music are fine arts, then the ayat and the ahadith cannot prove them wrong. They have their own opinion and way of living, and that is their madhab. The irony is that they don't like to call it things they like. Rather, they still name it to be religion. It's the religion which is the teacher, and that is the hypocrisy in it. For example, they think that there's nothing wrong with playing music and dancing at a wedding. But as soon as Maulana walks in for the nikah, everything has to be turned off out of respect of the alim. Meaning one shouldn't do anything which is according to their criteria is a good thing or a good deed because they were all doing it. It was good, must have been good. That's why they were doing it. In front of a scholar. He shouldn't be part of your righteous deeds. But if the music and dance stop because it is haram, Allah and His Apostle have deemed it to be forbidden, that means your local alim has more respect than the laws set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and brought by Rasulullah. And of course, emphasized by the Ma'asumeen. This hypocrisy and insulting the madhab is also called religion. They do it in the name of Deen. Similarly, these acts that I mentioned, the way we live in this society, examples of beard and music and hijab and dance, one cannot be convinced with the ayat and the ahadith, but the moment certain months start, like the month of Muharram, all of these things that they were doing it outside, now they're self-imposed, and no one has to enforce it. Everyone respectfully does it for the sake of Imam Hussein. The dance will stop, the music will stop, they'll start growing beard, start observing hijab, they'll put away all the things that lead them towards love and love. So this is self-imposed. No one had to tell them. On their own, they did all of these things. Question arises, if this action is allowed and halal, then why it's not halal in Muharram? And if it is haram, then why shouldn't it continue to be haram after Muharram is over? Did Imam Hussein go somewhere after Ashra Ula? That you only respected him for the first 10 nights? Are the alam and the tabut only rituals? Doing Hussein has no meaning anymore? Why are we limiting Imam Hussein for only 10 days or a month? Why does his respect not last beyond the Ashra Ula or up until the Chihlum? And on top of that, Hussein's Allah, who has initially deemed many of these things haram, where has he gone? Is he in the hiding? Why aren't we respecting him? We are respecting Imam Hussein, which is a good thing. In his honor, we're stopping many things. But you're not honoring the Rabb and the Lord and the Khuda of Imam Hussein. Where is the justice in that? Why isn't God respected the same way? Imam Hussein respected him. In fact, to the extent that Imam gave his life for the sake of the religion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent for us. Some folks are holier than this. They don't shave on Tuesdays. Their philosophy is that cutting hair, clipping nails on Tuesdays is makruh. Who told them that? Local alim. Regarding makruh actions and mustahabat, their local alim is authentic. They listen to his commands. And we don't need to ask any evidence and proofs for that. Of course, if God forbid local alim says, shaving beard is haram and wearing hijab is mandatory and dance and music is haram, right away they'll ask, where does it say in Quran and Hadith? Can you show any proof? Where does it say in Quran that we have to do this and we cannot do that? If the local alim says, hold majalis at home, there's sawab, distribute tabarruk, hold jashan, do kunde, pray Eid namaz, eat sivaiya, do all of these things for your marhumeen, hold isal sawab majalis, we'll do it. We won't even ask for a reason from proof of Quran and Hadith. Why? Because local alim is authority when it comes to makruh and mustahabbat. Lest he steps over his boundaries and talks about haram and halal. No, you stay where makruhat and mustahabbat end and let haram and halal and wajibat to be in our hands. In other words, their word in mustahabbat and makruhat is authentic, but their word in wajibat and muharramat has no value. They shouldn't intervene in wajib and haram. They will decipher ourselves from Quranic verses. Itna to ilm hamare paas hai. We're not born on fitrat Islam, we're born ulama Islam and the scholars of Islam. We can do that much ijtihad ourselves. And we will introduce such an incredible madhab where an action becomes haram on certain days while it's okay on other days. Don't shave on Tuesdays, but shave on Fridays because it's the most blessed day of the week. And if you think I'm pressing on these petty issues, because these are petty issues, they shouldn't be conference. You don't need a conference to have scholars sit down and talk about these issues. These are petty issues. Well, some might be thinking Maulana is stuck in these petty issues when the world is advancing and there's bigger issues that are at hand and beyond, then you're wrong. these are merely issues which everyone can relate to. That's why I'm giving these examples. Problem with self-taught madhab is that there isn't any limit whatsoever. You can do and say whatever you want. Just 13 Rajab passed. I'm sure you attended many of the jashan around in tri-state area. Some of you even had to recite. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept and Amirul Mu'mineen accept your ibadat in this regard. But wherever you went, you must have felt that you're being labeled. Either you have to say wah wah to those who are doing ghulu, because if you don't say wah wah to those who are doing ghulu, then you are labeled as muqassir. So to safeguard yourself from being labeled as muqassir, you're gonna go ahead and say wah wah to ash'ar even such as bashar ki shakl mein parwardigar aaya hai. Bashar ki shakl mein parwardigar aaya hai. आ गया. Who is it being referred to? Maulana Muttaqiyan. Imam Ali, his birth in Kaaba is the proof that he is not God. His shahadat in masjid is a proof that he is not God. His sleeping on the bed of Rasul on the night of Hijrat proves that he is not a God. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam's every single action proves us that his ibadat and prostrating in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the proof that he is the abd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But of course, an extraordinary abd. Don't get me wrong there. An extraordinary abd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, at a maqam where you and I can only aspire. And we can only hope that we can get some portion of it if it's possible. But with that said, he himself is denouncing all of this. That don't say these sort of ash'ar. Or if you're not, then the reciter will try and get more out of you. You've come to recite, present your poetry, and inshallah, people who understood, many understand, many don't understand, they'll give their support according to their understanding. But to go ahead and include those who are halal or halali, they will go ahead and say wawa. And those who are ghair halali, I don't want to use the word, they will remain silent. Have some fear of Allah. You got Sadat, Mu'mineen, Akabir, Udaba, Ulama in your mahfil, and you're calling them halali and ghair halali. Where is the justice in all of this? You got Sadat sitting in front of you. You got Ulama, Mu'mineen, Udaba sitting in front of you, and you're calling them what? Halali and ghair halali. Yes, I'm not challenging tawalla and tabarra, but I'm challenging tabarra which is being done on public that is sitting down there. Why are you making them to be the recipient of your tabarra and your itab as far as your poetry is concerned? So we got to be careful what we say. And I said this the other day as well. Ma yalfidhu min qawlin, ayat of Quran, Surah Qaf. Ma yalfidhu min qawlin illa alayhi raqibun atid. Not a word comes out of your mouth. You will be what? Held accountable for every single word that is uttered from your tongues. So coming back to our discussion of mustahabbat and makruhat, wajibat and muharramat. You know, it's a wedding season. Alhamdulillah, a lot of weddings are taking place and you're getting invited to these weddings. In fact, the preparations for weddings start many months in advance. I know it because people approach me, Maulana, you have to recite a nikah in November. But it's 8 months away. No, we want to book you right now. So that means they will start preparing for the wedding season. They'll go ahead and look for Qamar dar Aqrab. They'll look for the dates, Saad and Nahas. If needed, they'll do istikhara. That is that date, which is Saad and is not coinciding with Qamar dar Aqrab. Is it still good? So we go ahead and do istikhara for that. And these things have to be settled in advance so that we can book the hotel, confirm the DJ, fireworks can be planned so that everything is done. And at the nake time, at the nake date, after consultation with the Quran and istikhara. On the wedding day, it is allowed for girls and boys, men and women to mix. Today it's permissible for one to look at na-mahram, and no one need to search the ayat of Quran or the ahadith regarding that permissibility. This is our rasm. This is our ritual, which we have inherited from generations, and we've been doing it for generations. Religion has no intervention here. Although nikah is a religious contract, but it will have to be in line with the societal values, in fact, under the societal laws that you and I have created. When the time of rukhsati comes, serene music is being played. In the background, people are hooting. Again, no separation of genders. Everything is permissible. Everything is allowed today. Shadi ek din hoti hai. Bachon ki khushi hai Maulana isme. Back home, there are trumpets that are being blown as the bride makes her way to the vehicle along with the groom. And once they settle in the car, now the music dissipates, and all of a sudden you hear the sound of adhan. Ekdam se adhan aa gayi. Music is gone, now blended into this adhan. How beautiful and serene is this setup. A good mix of deen and dunya. Rind ke rind rahe, haath se jannat na gayi. Salawat veje Muhammad wa ali Muhammad par. Gathering that began with Quran and Hadith-e-Qissa and had a bit of music and dance in between, ended with the light music, blended with adhan at the end. Now the children that will be born from this marriage will have a balanced lifestyle. They will be jami'e sifat, all types of sifat, inshallah, with azan and noha and music, and a little bit of deen and a little bit of ghair deen will be mixed with them. Parents go out of their way to provide everything for their children. It's the happiest day of their life. They spend as much as they can on wedding. It's not like they have, it's not like, they're compromising on anything else, and there's no right for anyone to go ahead and question that this is, israf. No, if they have it and they can, then there's nothing wrong. Nobody needs to stop them. They have given Tuhfatul Awam and a copy of Quran in Jahez. The Quran, which will remain safe in the cover. If open, it might get dirty. If it remains closed, it means marriage is going well. If it's open, that means someone has passed away in their house. This is the sad story of these ayyam which are there to be celebrated, which are there to make us more prosperous because of the wiladat of such individuals who were sent. Ma khalaqtul jinna wal insa illa liya'budun. That's the ayat of Quran. Ma khalaqtu, I was quoting Hadith-e-Qissa, that I did not create this asman wa zameen illa li'ajlikum wa mahabbatikum. And how are we squandering this opportunity? By labeling each other halali or ghair halali, by quoting or reciting ash'ar that are, completely in contradiction with the zat of Amirul Mu'mineen, and na'udhu billah, equating him with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the things that need to be stopped. People need to speak and against it. I'm not saying start boycotting anything like this, no. Zikr jiska hai, wo to chalta rahega. Zikr is something which will never stop. Janab Zainab gave the guarantee for that. O Yazid, la tamhu dhikrana. Kid kaid, do whatever you want, plan however you want, our dhikr will never stop. That is a guarantee Bibi Zainab had given in the face of Yazid on that day. Therefore, it is a humbly asking request that we should all play our individual roles in these things that are mentioned without any hard feelings, without anyone being offended about it. This is something, a reality, which has to be addressed now and then and once in a while. Inna ahsanul hadith wa ablagh al-mawidha kitabullah a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim bismillahir rahmanir rahim wal asri innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus solihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا اله الا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم سبحان من سبقت رحمته وغضبه وبسط اليدين بالرحمة سبحان من لم يكلف نفسا إلا دون وسعها، فعن السيئات ولم يجاز بها سبحان من لا يزداد ولا معصي لعباد إلا كرما وجودا ولا كثرة الذنوب إلا فهو. وسوف نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو لطوف للعباد بجوده ولفظ المذنبين بحلمه. ونشهد أن محمدا نبيه وحبيبه سيد المرسلين وشفي المذنبين بعثه رحمة للعالمين. ألا قد أمركم الله في محكم كتابه بالصلاة على نبيه وحبيبه فقال تعليما لكم وتشريفا للصفي إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيد المرسلين وشفي المذنبين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وعلى إمام المسلمين وقائد الغر المحجلين أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله وسلامه على سيدة نساء العالمين وبذة خاتم النبيين سيدتنا فاطمة بنت رسول الله صلوات الله عليها وعلى الحسن المجتبى والحسين الشهيد بكربلاء وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي عليهم الصلاة والسلام. اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب الزمان ما ياثر البدء والطغيان هادم ابن الشرك والنفاق حاسد فروع البغي والشقاق صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى أباء الكرام اتصلت الليالي والأيام. اللهم عجل فرجا وسهل مخرجا وكل ناظرنا بنظرة منا إليه واجعلنا من المستشهدين بين يديه وتفضل على عمراء المؤمنين بمزيد التوفيقات والزيادة الإقبال الموضوع في الدرجات. اللهم افعل بنا ما أنت أهله ولا تفعل بنا ما نحن أهله بجاه محمد وآله المعصومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين. وجعلنا ممن يذكر الخطأ فذكر إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. استغفر الله ربي من كل ذنب وأتوب الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم. ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم. مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. ربنا افرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين بجاه محمد وآله الطاهرين. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
الله ملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. تسبيح جناب فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. All of us together. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كن لوليك الحجة لابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Jummah Mubarak to you all. Let's recognize the sponsors for today's Jummah lunch and the niyaz of Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. It's the family of Dr. Iqbal and Abda Jafri, as well as the family of Brother Zafar Qureshi. Please recite Surah Fatiha for their marhumin, as well as your marhumin, especially Maulvi Muhammad Bakhsh Qureshi, Ghulam Jannat Qureshi, Amreen Zafar Qureshi, and all marhumin of Qureshi family and Jafri family. Surah Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alamin ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawm ad-Din. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. Just quickly, upcoming programs. Inshallah, tonight we'll have the futsal and Quran Academy for kids ages 6 to 12, starting at 7 p.m. 7 to 8 they do Quran over here, and then 8 to 9 they play in Sadiq School Gym. It's open to all. Bring your kids here, so that couple of hours they spend here learning Quran and as well as playing with other peers. Also, inshallah, weekend is upon us. Saturday and Sunday we have Salat al-Fajr at 6 a.m. Come and join us Saturday morning. After Salat we have Quran Circle, and Sunday morning after Salat we have commentary on Nahj al-Balagha. Also on Monday, inshallah, we will be commemorating the shahadat of our 7th Imam, Imam Musa al-Kazim alayhi salatu wasalam. There's a series of 2 majalis, Monday and Tuesday. Monday will be the Shab-e-Shahadat of Imam. Inshallah, Tabut will be brought out. Program will start at 7 p.m. with Salatul Isha, followed by Sur Salam Marsiya and Majlis Aza and Matam. Shab-e-Shahadat is Monday. Tabut will be on Monday night. And Tuesday, inshallah, we'll have the Majlis commemorating the wafat of Mohsin Islam, Hazrat Abu Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. Both these majalis will start at 7 p.m. Looking further ahead, Wednesday, inshallah, February 7th, we will be celebrating Eid al-Mab'ath and Laylatul Miraj. So there are amal of the night of Mab'ath. Inshallah, that program will also start at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. All these details will be shared with you via email, inshallah, that will go out on Monday morning. Let us recite this dua al-sihat for all of those people who are sick in our community, outside of our community in need, those who have asked and requested for dua al-sihat. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring them out of their difficulties and provide for them quick recovery, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ 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 وَيَجْعَلُكُمْ خُلَفَاءَ الْأَرْضِ إِلَٰهٌ مَّعَ اللَّهِ قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. Let's proceed to Salatul Asr. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah. Ashhadu anna Aliyan hujjatullah. Hayya ala salati, hayya ala salah, hayya ala al-falah, hayya ala al-falah, hayya ala khayr al-amal, hayya ala khayr al-amal. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. صلاة العصر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته يقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضيف. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
الله ملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. تسبيح.